Today we are with BMW's highest powered M car ever made. It's the first CSL in 20 years, the 2022 M4 CSL. CSL stands for Coupe, Sport and Lightweight and is a limited edition rare version of the highly respected M car range. There was only 1,000 of them built, with just 100 coming to the UK, so you won't see many of these. Now this thing weighs 1,700 kilos. BMW actually quotes 1,625, but that's dry weight, I believe. It's 100 kilos lighter than the standard M4, but it's still bloody heavy. Weight saving comes from the carbon fibre bonnet and boot lid, which saves about 24 kilos. Carbon fibre seats, which saves another 24 kilos, and then you've got no rear seats, which saves another 21 kilos. Really love the ducktail design on these, like the E46 had. While we're here, let's have a look in the boot. Pretty nice size. You can take a long trip with a big suitcase in this car. We've got carbon reinforced plastic all round, so rear diffuser, front splitter, wing mirrors and roof. This particular car is on PS4s. They do come on Michelin Cup 2s as standard, but this car is driven all year round and we all know what Cup 2s are like in the wet. Notable design features are the rear and headlight designs, which are made to look more like the GT racing cars. You've also got the wider open grille to be more in keeping with the new BMW designs, and then also this really lovely heritage badge, which you could only buy from March 22 until early 23. We've got a 3-litre twin turbo straight 6 engine, which puts out about 550 horsepower. The previous CSL had 503 horsepower, but it did weigh a lot less. We've got 650 newton meters of torque, a 0 to 60 in about 3.7 seconds and a top speed of 190 mile an hour from a rear wheel drive front engine setup. We've also got this really lovely lightweight strut brace, which is there to increase the handling capability on this car. Right, let's take a look inside. First challenge, actually get in. These seats are not the easiest seats to get into if you are a midget like me. First thing about the interior of this car is that it's pretty bare for a BMW. BMWs normally have a lot of tech, but it hasn't got a huge amount, but that's fine. It's a track car, it's not a luxury daily. The other thing that you notice when you first get into this car is the sheer amount of carbon and carbon reinforced plastic. It is absolutely everywhere. Steering wheel, as I say, the seats are carbon, the centre console has got the carbon all over it, just absolutely everywhere. It's really, really nicely done. You've then also got CSL badges, again, absolutely everywhere, just in case you forget what you've spent 130 grand on. Coming back to the seats, they are really nice. We've got this kind of mix of leather, bit of Alcantara in there, but then also the carbon fibre design. Going into the rear, we've then got no seats, as already mentioned, for weight saving purposes. You have got a bit more storage in there, but you have literally got a sticker on there that says don't put a suitcase on it. So, but you probably get away with putting a light gym bag on there, I'd say, if you wanted to. And you've got the net to keep it in place as well. Coming back into the front, in terms of storage, you haven't actually got a huge amount. You've got the glove box, which is kind of a reasonable size, not massive, but not tiny. And then you've got a little kind of cubby hole thing here. And then you've got a couple of bits in the door cards as well. You have, interestingly, got cup holders in the door card. That's actually a pretty cool design, but also not massively fabulous because it's kind of slanted. So once you've got your coffee cup in there, if you brake a bit hard, you're going to get a very wet leg. We've then got a wireless charger in the front, and that's about it in terms of storage. Buttons, we have got this kind of nice wheel that you use to control the screen. This particular car actually has I prefer this design in terms of screen. I don't really like the new designs where it goes across the whole front. I know people really like that, but it's just not my thing. But yeah, the screen's a really nice design and you control it with the button down here. And it is also touchscreen as well. The buttons are quite heavy. Don't particularly like these buttons, but they do the job. So it is what it is and you have to just live with it. In terms of buttons, again, not a huge amount in here. So we've got kind of normal stuff, but then you've also got your exhaust valve to open that and close that. Then we've got the setup button, which allows you to change the setup on the car. You can literally change the engine, chassis, braking, steering, everything, and set it up pretty much however you want it to be. You can even set a traction control mode, which will allow you to drift at a certain level. You've then got the different modes. So you've got road, sport and track. Road is obviously for road driving. Sport is a little bit more kind of fast road driving, so it stiffens everything up a bit, gives you a bit more acceleration and de-acceleration, and just makes it a bit more kind of, as I say, sporty on the road. And then you've got track mode, which is literally something you definitely don't want to put on the road, trust me. And it also turns off all the driving aids, and you can also turn off traction control completely if you want to. All those sorts of things to make it a proper good track car. We've then got the start stop button, got this really, really lovely kind of, I say gear stick, it's an automatic, so it's not a gear stick, but the gear stick thing. Lovely design on that, really, really like that. You've then got the standard thing, so you can turn off traction control, turn off the automatic stop start, and then above that we've kind of got all the normal standard buttons in terms of radio control and aircon and all those sorts of things. Steering wheel is absolutely gorgeous, to be honest. Really, really, really love this steering wheel. Again, carbon everywhere with the Alcantara on the outside, just feels lovely, looks lovely. We've got a couple of buttons on there, so you've got a limiter, you've got cruise control, and then you've also got kind of controls for phone and radio and the normal stuff like that. We've then got these really cool M buttons, so M1, M2, which means that you can set up the car however you want. If you've got a particular mode that you like driving in, then you can set it up so that you just press that button and it will put it into that mode, and it will, if you wanted to stiffen up your suspension but have comfort steering, for example, you can do all those sorts of things with it. Really, really, really good. And then we've got this proper cool dashboard, which changes depending on what mode you put the car in. Just a really lovely, clean design, I think. Right, that's enough chatting. Let's go for a drive. Right, let's start with the bad bits. Firstly, it is feckin' huge. So I was driving through somewhere earlier, quite a small road, and like, it felt ginormous. I was trying to avoid these people, obviously, because I don't want to crash someone else's car or do any damage to someone else's car. But I had absolutely no idea how big this car was, and we were all the way over, and there still wasn't enough room. It's gigantic, and to be honest, it does feel it, certainly at the start. I'm getting a bit used to it now, but it's a huge big old bus. Secondly, not particularly comfortable. The seat, you have to literally, you can't adjust the seat other than forwards and back. That's it, that's all you've got. I'm a bit too far forward to the steering wheel. I feel like I'm in the steering wheel, and I'm sat up too much. I want to be a little bit, you know, kind of leant back a bit. I want to be in the position that the Exige seat is in, where it's a bit more like that. You're kind of you're not sat on top of the steering wheel. And I can't move the steering wheel in any more than I've already got. But because I'm a midget and my legs are about that long, I have to have the seat so far forward. And as I say, I'm not particularly comfortable, if I'm completely honest. And the other thing that I don't like is that where I sit, and again, because I'm short, the wing mirrors are right in the way when I'm trying to pull out of a junction or something like that. I'm sort of going like this to try and see over the wing mirrors, because they're quite big wing mirrors as well. They are literally right in my face. Right, bad stuff out the way. That's it, done. There is nothing else, I'm going to repeat, there is nothing else I don't like about this car. Don't like where I'm sat, don't like how big it is. Other than that, I am completely on board with this. Put your foot down, fucking goes. And it really feels like it goes as well. It's not one of those cars that you can be doing 100 mile an hour and it feels like you're doing 60. You're doing 60 and you feel like you're doing 60 in this. It's, however, it is incredibly fast on pickup. It's visceral. It's really just, I don't know, like, gearbox absolutely kicks you. Not so much when you're in manual mode, but when you're in auto and you're doing kind of slower speeds, it's really, I've driven an Aventador, and that was quite similar in terms of it properly just beats you up, if you know what I mean. And yeah, this is very, very similar. If you're kind of driving at slow-ish, relatively slow speeds, the gearbox is quite slow. It sort of takes a while to engage. It's not like a PDK or really any other car, or like the proper M4 or anything like that, really. But everyone on the internet says how much they don't like it, or that it's not that good. I really like it. I think it suits the car. That's the thing. Right, I'm currently in comfort. I'm kind of chilling, driving along the road. I'm quite comfortable. I can feel, I can feel the suspension. I've got feedback through the steering wheel, but it's not particularly unpleasant. There's no sound deadening in the car, so that was one of the weight saving. That was one of the ways that BMW was saving weight in this car, is that they took out they took out the sound deadening. So there is a huge amount of road noise and noise from the car. You're not in a luxurious car, but that's not what it's all about. This is ultimately a fast road and track car. BMW say that it's a road car first and a track car second. I would argue that it's gonna be a pretty good track car. Absolutely sticks. Oh man. Right, what I'm gonna do is put it into M1. And what that does is puts the engine, so the powertrain, into Sport Plus, so I'll get all the power immediately. It puts the suspension into comfort, so this is configured to what the owner wants. Suspension in comfort, steering in sport, and the brakes in sport. Now, those brakes are incredible. Those brakes are very good. And the brakes in sport. Now, those brakes are very good. Very good. Oh, God, listen. So now the engine is in Sport Plus, that's when it starts kicking you with the gearbox. I really like this gearbox. Everyone on the internet keeps going on about how they didn't really like the gearbox, and it wasn't a Porsche gearbox, whatever. But I actually really like it. It adds to the experience of the car. And there is so much experience. I've got feedback through the steering wheel. Speaking of Porsche, it seems to be Porsche outing day on the road today. I've got feedback through the steering wheel. I know what the car's doing. It feels so planted. Now, gearbox kind of kicks you. It's like, I've driven an Aventador, and it's quite a slow gear change, certainly in this mode. And it's like, but everyone on the internet keeps going on about how they don't really like the gearbox, but I think it adds to the experience in this. I really like it. I don't understand what their problem is, if I'm completely blunt. I think you're all wrong if you're doing YouTube videos and saying that you don't like this, you don't like the gearbox, because I really like it in this car. The suspension is very stiff, have to say. Wonder if I'm gonna put it into sport, see what that's like. Right, I'm just going to go setup, and then I'm going to put the chassis into Sport Plus. Oh Christ, that's stiff. Right, that's track mode. You do not want that on the road. That takes an already very stiff car and makes it, you can literally feel every single thing on the road. I don't know if I want to daily this. This definitely is not a daily car. But again, BMW don't claim for it to be. I'm going to put it back into comfort, because that is a little bit too much, I've got to be honest. So, I have to say, I love the M4. That was one of the options when I was buying the RS5, was the M4, but I wanted something, when I bought the RS5, I heard me say this before, I think, when I did the RS5 video, but I wanted something that was a bit more comfort, a bit more luxurious, that I wasn't going to be tempted to drive like an idiot all the time in. And the RS5 did that for me. but I really, really, really love the M4, and this is just a step up. Now, I was looking at an M4 comp, and the M4 comp I think was 98 grand when I was looking. This, the owner bought for 130, and I would say this is 100,000,000% worth of it, extra 30 grand. For a daily, absolutely not. You do not want this car as a daily, but would I spend 130 grand on this car? In an absolute heartbeat. This is, I don't know, I love it. I absolutely love it. I had no idea that I'd love this car so much. I'm just in my element. Right, let's get away from all the people, shall we? Yeah! Oh man, it's so planted. I can't just... This is not a particularly nice road, but it just eats it up. Oh, and that, when you switch down the gears. Oh yeah. I want one, I want one, I want one, I want one, I want one. Have no idea what I would use it for, because I'd probably still use the Exige for track. But then I would use this for a oh man. Oh, I want one. I want one so bad. I think they're about 90 grand now. I might have to go and buy one. Oh dear. Not the sort of car you want to be putting around 30 mile an hour zones and villages and places with potholes. Let me tell you that. I'm in comfort, suspension's in comfort. This road isn't particularly bad, but I am rattling around. If I had any pills, I'd be making lots and lots and lots of rattling noises. But then, oh, you get to a little B road. Oh mate, yeah, I love this car. Gearbox kicks you. That is very, very Aventador-esque. But again, it works in this car. I really like it in this. Oh man, I'm having so much fun. What a fantastic B-road blaster this thing is. Just, it's yeah, it is incredible. This is just wonderful, this car. I do feel like a chav in it though, but like a cool chav. This is like the epitome of cool chav for me. Like just an absolute hooligan. Just, oh man. Fuck it. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Got so much grip as well. As I say, these roads aren't particularly good, but it just absolutely eats them up. It's just yeah, I'm so impressed with this car. So we have got a little heads-up display, which I can't see because I'm too short. Right, so if I sit like this, I can see it. I can see that I'm currently doing 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour now, because people have decided to use their accelerators. We're in a 60, by the way, and we're doing 36 mile an hour now. But because I'm so short, I can't actually see it unless I sit up like this. If I sit like this, can't see it. It doesn't actually feel as big now that I've been driving it for a bit. So it felt really big earlier, but as I say, it felt really big earlier, but now that I'm used to it, it's kind of okay. It's not that big. I want it. Want one. Want one now. Not sure if I can afford to have one every day, to be fair. BMW says that their miles per gallon, combined miles per gallon, is, I believe it was like 9.9 to 10.1 miles per gallon. That's worse than the RS5 and the Lotus put together. That's like what the McLaren was. No, that's worse than the McLaren. The McLaren I could get 9 miles per gallon out of if I was hooning, like properly hooning, like track day. Although even on track days, quite often it would be in the teens. 9 miles per gallon's pretty bad. Lovely smooth bit of road here. like you just accelerate out of the corner and it just goes, okay, cool, yeah, sweet. Like, just, I can't get over how good it grips. Right, fun factor. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having so much fun in this. I'm gonna go with a 9, I think. Just purely because the Lotus is a 10 and nothing beats the Lotus when it comes to fun. But this is pretty damn close. I love this car so much. I'm fully sold on the whole CSL thing. Yeah, fun factor, I'm gonna say it's a 9. Again, the Lotus just trumps everything that I've driven so far. But in terms of experience, this is, I can't stop grinning, so that kind of tells you everything you need to know. Practicality, I'd say like 6 or 7. It hasn't got the back seats, but you know, boot size is nice. It's quite comfortable in here if you don't mind being rattled around because of the suspension, which I could imagine would become tiresome. It's not the sort of car that you would daily, although I'd give it a pretty good go, to be honest. I'm a bit of a nut job like that, so although I'd give it a pretty good go, to be honest. I'd daily anything. But yeah, it's not exactly the most comfortable car, but you could go away for a weekend or whatever in it and with no trouble put a decent sized suitcase in the back. Yeah, it's fine. It's not completely impractical, and if you were, you know, a bit of a young'un and you didn't mind rattling around every day, you could daily it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss anything in future. If there's any cars that you'd love to see me review, please let us know in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you next week.